The Chartographers.
Hello, everybody! You're listening to The Chartographers! It is a music-loving podcast from music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it all from worst to first. It's a thing where one time we were reviewed on iTunes and someone said, it's really fun, but they don't get all their facts right. And honestly, it was the most honest review I've ever read of this show.
That's totally fair.
Possibly ever. But hey, listen, we are here, we're in the middle of it, and right now the thing is, I'm sure you probably all listened to our very short, very fun Season 4, where we just got to kind of do whatever the fuck we feel like. We did things, we reviewed our first K-pop artist, we did our first country artist, and now in our big Season 5, we're actually tackling something we haven't really done before. We are diving headfirst into the realm of bluegrass. In fact, we're going to be picking apart the discography of one of the most popular bluegrass groups of maybe all time? I don't know. We're digging into it. That's right, this week we're talking about the one, the only, that group that is definitely not part of the writer's room of the sci-fi TV show The Expanse because they don't care for a drummer. That's right, guys, we're talking about Nickel Creek!
That's the joke?
The Punch Brothers, if you're nasty.
No, that's a whole different band.
Yeah. So, listen, Nickel Creek, they are basically a group that started out in Southern California. It is basically centered around the virtuosic musicianship of three incredibly powerful musicians. There is Chris Thiele, who is, of course, the mandolin player du jour. There is, of course, also Sarah Watkins, who is an incredible violinist. And there is her brother, Sean Watkins, who is amazing on guitar. The three of them formed a group when they were super goddamn young. As in, like, some of them weren't even in the double digits yet when they were started recording and rehearsing and playing all over the place. And the thing is that they have gone out and have started an incredible career that basically started out with them doing little kind of country covers and just kind of playing on those circuits a little bit before truly developing a voice of their own, their popularity exploding in the wake of the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack and the whole cultural reset that ultimately did and introduced so many people into the world of what bluegrass and country and authentic Americana was in terms of music. They kind of rode on to that success, but they have so much more to say. They have a fascinating discography, and we are going to dive into it today. Who's the we that's doing the diving? I'm glad you asked. First off, there's me. I'm Evan Sadi. You might know me as the host of this podcast in the tweets and in the streets. And also, the thing is, I also review a lot of things. I write a lot of things. But most importantly, if you know anything about this podcast, you know the person sitting next to me, the Sarah Watkins to my Chris Thiele. That's right, Taran O'Reilly!
Hello! I like how I'm the Sarah.
Yeah.
Even though we have literally my sister
I can be
is
a
here.
Sean, it's fine.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and well, listen, the thing is that you just heard the voice, you know it, it's incredible. Someone who is a dear friend, who is a musical superhero to us, and because you have heard her on multiple episodes, including, this is the third one, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was on our Death Cab episode, on our Iron and Wine episode, and because she's here right now, she's now officially a Chartographers All-Star! That's our guy, led in the studio, Kerida O'Reilly! Kerida!
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah!
About this new foray into bluegrass with you guys.
Yeah, well, the thing is that this has been an interesting week for me because I had to start from scratch. I know of Nickel Creek. I never really dug it. I heard like maybe one or two songs here or there, but I never was really dug. This was my first time fully going into it. But from what I understand, you're the one who actually introduced Taran to Nickel Creek, correct?
Yes, he just showed me the playlist from the Best of Nickel Creek. Was it a CD when I
Yeah,
did it?
you made a mix CD for me.
Because I don't remember exactly when I discovered them, but I listened to them with my best friend from junior high and high school, Kim. That was really the starting point. And then they played on my campus my freshman year at Marquette University. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Diddy Bops opened for them.
Oh, wow.
And then we saw Nickel Creek played. It was a really, really fun show. And I mean, I loved them before that, but I think that was the start of my, really just, infusing them into my blood as music.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting really to talk about their whole discography, as I'm sure we'll get into their first two albums. not as well known.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, because I feel like in terms of the discography, initially, I'm not sure if you all know this about the Chartographers, we've done everything from 16 album discographies to much smaller ones, like some 5 I think is our bare minimum on here. And the thing is, when you're talking about Nickel Creek, a lot of people will talk about the 4 albums that they've done, basically from 2000 onward, when they were signed to Sugar Hill Records and later None Such, when they were, kind of more of a commercial force. But the thing is that they do have a full discography. They have 6 albums, but we're going to get into the specifics of it in a little second here, because if we're talking about the 6 albums, we're of course talking about their country cowpoke debut, Little Cowpoke, in 1993, when they're literally called the Nickel Creek Band. There was, of course, their much more mature self-released effort, Here to There, from 1997. There was their Alison Krauss-produced breakthrough in terms of Nickel Creek in the year 2000. There was their gold-selling follow-up to that, This Side, from 2002. There was their light, a little bit more indie rock-scented Why Should the Fire Die, from 2005. And after a long break away from the group, they reunited for the stripped down and in their prime A Dotted Line from 2014. Now that is 6 albums, but the thing is, we do need to talk about Little Cowpoke and Here to There. Because the thing is, if you were just the random Chartographers listener who's like, oh my god, I love Nickel Creek, I know all 4 of their albums, where are the other 2? They're not on Spotify, but here's the thing. Little Cowpoke, their debut, is still available on CD. They were signed to, of course, the legendary Choo Choo Records. The thing is, it's still being sold on their website. If you need a catalog, you can reach them at 888-CHUG-CHUG. It literally says that on the back of the CD. And the thing is that, I don't know, they're a small-time little gig, but the thing is that record, it's them as kids, as fucking
It's very
types.
informative to listen to in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, they were 12 and 16 when they recorded that. So that tells you a lot about what exactly is going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. The big question mark here is Here to There from 1997. Now, this was a little bit more of a mature album from them, especially following Little Cowpoke. It has some original compositions on it for once, thank God. But the thing is that it's still self-released, and it is still, as of this day, hugely, widely unavailable.
It did not make the transfer to the digital era.
At all.
It is not available for purchase or streaming anywhere. In fact, when we tried to purchase the CD to get it, it was $250 on Amazon because it is a collector's item.
Yeah.
Or, and then you ended up just buying it on eBay.
Mm-hmm. Someone had a burned CD
so they
copy
sent
of
it,
it.
we bought a burned CD copy of it.
Which is perfectly sufficient. Right. I mean, the thing, and so the question is like, okay, if this is so hard to get and I can't get the files online, why even put it as part of the discography? Why even rank it as a piece of quote-unquote lost media, as it were?
I kind of love that. I mean, we have never done lost media like this before, but it is also, like, I think a pretty, again, just like you said about Little Cowpoke, Kerida, it's a very informative record to listen to when you are learning about their career arc.
Yeah. From someone who knows the rest of their discography, like, backwards and forwards, listening to those 2 albums, it was really interesting to see how, like, their roots and where they developed from, and how, like, even on that early album, From Here to There, you kind of start to hear their personalities in a way that you then learn throughout their time as Nickel Creek. And then if you've listened to any of them as independent artists or in the other groups they're in, they all have very clear voices in their songwriting. And I think you do start to hear that on Here to There.
Right. And so for that reason, and also because the week we recorded this in late 2020, it was around the time that there was going to be a vinyl repressing of their 3 Sugar Hill era albums, Nickel Creek, This Side, and Why Should the Fire Die? And so they've been doing a lot of tours, a lot of press over it. And the thing is that they noted in one of the Vulture interviews about it, like how it seemed like their catalog had fell into a different set of hands, which is why the re-release was happening. I'm not sure what their record label relationship is, but if they have any sort of say in Here to There, maybe we can encourage them to finally put it out there. Can the Chartographers do it? We will see at the end of this podcast, but we need to talk about it first. And in terms of that, 6 albums, 6 slots. Kerida O'Reilly, special guest, Chartographers All-Star, well known. I want to say we have 6 albums here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any surprise on this, but I can get to ask the question anyway. Kerida, what would you nominate as the worst Nickel Creek album?
Yeah, I mean, given this list, I have to go with Little Cowpoke.
Oh my fucking god.
It feels unfair in some ways because of the age thing. But, like, I mean, that's going to be true this whole ride because they were so young when they started, you can hear them mature through their discography. So we have to kind of set that aside.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Chris Thile, he picked up the instrument when he was about 2 years old.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's recordings on the documentary How to Grow a Band about the Punch Brothers, his other group he did afterwards. They show some footage of them playing together. Like, he's fucking 5 and he is wailing on that fucking thing.
He was truly a virtuoso on the mandolin, like, at a very young age.
Yeah.
And so that is still, like, they're still playing on Little Cowpoke that is very technically proficient and very impressive.
Yes, it is an impressive album in a lot of musical ways when given their age. But I mean, yeah, like you said, there's some very technically impressive playing, you know.
Honestly, but here's the thing about it, though. It is nothing but country covers. We're talking about happy tracks.
It's not just country covers.
Cowboy covers.
It's cowboy covers.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, songs from the 30s and 40s, unchanged.
I wanna be
which I think
cowboy sweetheart.
Oh, God.
So that's the biggest problem with this album, is not that it's just, like, bluegrass kids bop. It's that just the fact that Pecos Bill exists and is on here. I promise that scaring the Redskins so hard that their war paint fell off and that's how the Painted Desert got his name, that was already not okay in 1993.
Yes.
And so, it's hard to listen to at
To
times.
have that be the one that they're still selling is very questionable.
Right. I think that Choo Choo Records, whoever the fuck they are, I just like, the thing is, like, even on their website, they're like, the album from Nickel Creek, Grammy winners for the album this side, like, it has that in the description.
Right,
Like,
and
this
it's
is,
like,
I'm sure, their only fucking cow.
I'm sure that if Nickel Creek had a say in it, this album would not still be available.
It would be Star Wars Christmas
Because
special out of this
is
universe.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is, frankly, while there's still, like, for example, I think Chant of the Wanderer is actually kind of cute. I wouldn't be mad if, like, I bought a children's compilation, you know, for my children that I will never ever have.
Yeah.
And that was on there. Like, that would be good.
I felt like that was a song like our parents would sing to us when we were kids. Like,
Totally.
it does feel like kind of more of an earthy, like, not quite the problematic cowboy Western worship that some of the other songs are.
Okay.
Well, also, I think the other reason it's weird is because they're from California.
Yeah, they're not from Texas.
Nor are they from Wyoming.
It feels very much like a 30s era, we need to make some money and our kids are talented gambit.
Totally.
At times.
The thing is I don't view this album necessarily as exploitative. I just view it as, like, the thing is, the reason that you'd ever listen to this is for the incredible, incredible bass work of Dad Scott Thiele. Like, it's incredible what he does on this record. I'm totally fucking kidding. No, genuinely, Chris Thiele is still mandolining the fuck up over here, and it's no fault. The thing is, genuinely, though, it's no fault of Sarah or Sean's abilities. They're both still very good. This is a wholly competent album, but the thing is, it's also full-on covers. Like, the thing is, there's not a chance for their thing. The only thing that's distinctive about it is, oh, look how good this kid is when he was young. That's really the only takeaway that you get out of this record, genuinely.
Great, so let's bury it.
Bury the fuck out of it.
Moving on.
Number 6,
for a long time
Little Cowpoke. I know, exactly. It's fun to... listen, I have a feeling if they had a say in it, they'd probably shit on it a little bit too, but at the same time, they're kids. Like, we all do stupid things when we're kids. Like, 5 years ago when I started this podcast.
Right, which is why we're not like, how dare they?
Yeah.
It's just, you know...
It was a little bit of a surprise.
Like, I understand why this is not on streaming.
Yes.
Even though, like, for example, Chris Thiele's solo 90s albums are, but they're mostly instrumental. So that makes a little more sense. There isn't content to be edited.
And he didn't have to have his sick as lawyers on Choo Choo Records or whatever the fuck. Okay, in that case, that's pretty easy, Little Cowpoke. Number 5 slot, Taran O'Reilly. What would you throw on there?
I was actually very pleasantly surprised by this album, but it has to be Here to There.
It has to be our Lost Media album.
It does.
It does. And the first thing that I will say about Here to There is I am very happy, as a huge Nickel Creek fan, I am very happy that we took the effort to get this and that we listened to it, because I actually really like, especially the instrumentals on this record. The opener, the self-titled track Here to There, Old Cold Coffee on the Dashboard, and Cross the Bridge are all fantastic, and an even simple song for Salty the Sea Slug. None of those, all of those would be completely at home in any of their later albums.
Agreed.
I think the playing is proficient. You could clearly hear the technical improvements that both Sarah and Sean have made on their instruments by this point, because for sure there's already a lot more. I mean, they weren't bad before by any means, but just the technical ability on display from all three of them on this album is really impressive.
Yeah, this for me was the Sean album, because, like, okay, Chris Steele's really good at mandolin, we know this, but, like, some of the guitar work he does on that, for me particularly on You Don't Have to Move That Mountain, like, it was, like, near the end there, he is just sliding on it, he's doing little hammer-ons, he's doing, like, all sorts of really, really intricate work on here, like, and for a teenager, like, I know there's some teenage prodigies, but, like, for the acoustic guitar especially, like, this guy's fucking got it, like, and that's the thing, the only thing is that on this album, in that interview with Vulture, there's a note about, when listening back to their self-titled 2000, Nickel Creek, how Chris Steele thinks it's hard for him to listen to because he hears the auto-tune, which, like, for the record, reading that was like, wait, what? I don't hear it.
Well, I now, specifically because I read that comment, and then the entire rest of the week in listening to their self-titled, I was going, can I hear the auto-tune? And the truth is that if you're using auto-tune or pitch correction correctly, how it was originally intended, you're not supposed to be able to tell.
Right.
But I can, like, there's a couple, like, when they do their three-part stacked harmonies, where I'm like, okay, they probably put a little bit of effect on this to make it a little more pleasant. It has a little more of that studio sheen than
which Alison Krauss would know how to do. She is a consummate professional.
Right, right.
But just back to Here to There.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's some questionable vocal takes on here.
Yeah, because they're fucking teenagers. Right. So, like, I'm willing to give a pass on it.
I mean, and I just have to say, like, for me, that, like, I was saying this to Taran, but, like, the amount of Jesus in it is a little cringy for me. Especially, like, listening back to back with Little Cowpoke.
But also, like, think about when we were 16.
Oh, sure.
You know?
I still don't know that if someone asked me to write a song, I would have written He Will Listen to You. But
well, I don't know that they wrote He Will Listen to You.
I have to look at it again. They wrote a lot of them, and Sean wrote a lot of them.
Yeah, and Sean's still a little bit down with the JC.
It's fine. I think for me, it was like, I have, again, like, listening to it in conjunction with Little Cowpoke and listening to how, and knowing their ages and that kind of thing, like, it brought up a lot of, like, feminist issues for me that we don't necessarily have to go into. But I think, like you said, the instrumentals on it are amazing. And for that, I would purchase this album if it was for purchase.
Right.
By this band, because I love the band and I love them as artists, and so I would be like, I want to have this.
Isn't there a song on here that actually shows up on their best of, The Reason Why?
Yeah, that's the You Don't Have to Move That Mountain.
Yeah.
And I do really enjoy You Don't Have to Move That Mountain. That,
even though it is, I mean, it has Christian ideology behind it, but it's a great song, and she sings it really well. Even on this early, even the Here to There version, it's not a perfect vocal take, but she's given it her all, and I still thoroughly enjoy it.
Very strong.
Yeah. Cool. So, well, I think that, do we need to say anything more about Here to There?
No, but, like, seriously, if you wanted to put this album out there,
streaming. Do I need to call Scott Thiele, or, like, what? How do we make this happen?
I mean, the thing is, Chris, you're pretty successful. If you called him, I'm pretty sure he would listen to you. So I'm just saying, if that's a possibility. All right, number 5, Here to There. There we go. Literally no surprises at this point here, but now we are at the big 4. We are at the discography that people know and are aware of and have loved and is beloved all over the place. So now comes the tough part of nominating a record here. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a nomination. And the thing is that, like, I will say that even with some of the issues with Here to There, this is such a good discography. The thing is that every album has its own distinct flavor, its own distinct feel to it, and there's a lot to it. And as such, especially in diving into it, especially as being the neophyte here that's just kind of taking it all in at once, it might be controversial, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I think in number 4, I would put the self-titled record. Now, part of the reason for that is the fact that, like, and I don't hear the autotune on here, and Taran was noting how, like, there was an interview about Alison Krauss was the person that really helped them refine their vocal harmonies and their stacking. And they are incredible, like, as a group. And the songs they're writing have a level of maturity to them, because even The Lighthouse's Tale, it's this, like, smart, like, it just feels like it's more of a generational song. It feels like a traditional. It does,
Totally.
Yeah.
I almost assumed that it was a cover.
I did too.
At first.
It is very impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like you said, like it sounds like it was passed down in an oral tradition before it was written down. Like they have achieved that with that song. And I think that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to speak to Chris Thiele's proficiency, I mean, I think that mandolin is like one of the most iconic. I mean, when I read the title of the song, that just starts happening
That hook,
in my head.
yeah.
You know, like it's just
It's like a wave, you know, like it just flows,
Right.
yeah.
Oh god, I didn't even think of
This kind of rising
and the
falling,
way that the song builds, like it really, like it makes sense that it's an all-timer for them.
Exactly. And the thing is, this record is full of just some, like, wonderful, fun moments. I know that Chris Thiele has said that he got sick as fuck for playing the Fox for as long as he did. People kept asking for it and
Another
demanding it.
classic
Exactly,
song.
yeah.
Well, that is a traditional, and I always think of Aunt Jamie singing it.
Right.
And then I was talking to Dad, and he was like, "Oh, well, Aunt Jamie learned it from our Aunt Eileen, who always used to sing it." So, so to me, you know, is their version of it fun? Sure, but like I already was approaching it as a traditional, so it's not one of my favorites.
Right.
And the one thing is that I would say is that there's some purists out there that don't necessarily view Nickel Creek as full bluegrass because they have such pop overtones to their thing.
Sure.
And the thing is that, like, they adhere to a little bit more, I would say, traditionally poppy song structures at times, even though the instrumentation is very
and
much
sometimes
rooted.
it's, I mean, some of these songs are indie rock songs.
Absolutely.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And I would argue the thing is that I know this is their big platinum seller there, and I would say that of the 4 albums that we have left here, I would argue none of them are end-to-end masterpieces, though. The biggest thing for me, like, as fun as an instrumental like In the House of Tom Bombadil is, and it's as fun, great as some of the performances are, this is a record that just, like, doesn't have, for me, seeing the maturity across the rest of these records here, the easy grooves they get into, and the adventurousness that they take on to later albums, is so striking to, like, hear this journey and then come back to the Nickel Creek, and, like, this is a fully competent record. And I know it soundtracks so many people's lives. I know it was so many people's introduction just to the world of bluegrass as is, even if it did have a pop sheen to it there.
Certainly.
For me, of the 4 records that we have here, just by a couple marks, this is just the weakest one, in my opinion.
So I understand. And I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said. But for me, I just I think the first half of this album is like almost perfect. Like
Opening with Ode
like
to a
the
Butterfly.
Ode to a Butterfly is like just fantastic, and the way that all of the instruments trade off with each other, and it really feels like you're watching a butterfly flit through the wildflowers. Like
there's a visual element to
I grew
it.
up with like a prairie near my house, so I've seen that imagery.
There's definitely and Ode to a Butterfly is one of their instrumentals that I knew which one, you know, like sometimes the instrumentals you have a hard time, like, wait, which one is this?
Is this Stumptown? Is this Smoothie Song?
Right, but it's like, no, I know what Ode to a Butterfly is, I recognize it anywhere, just a really great song.
You know, we've talked about Lighthouse's Tale. Out of the Woods is like in my like top 50 songs of all time. I will never get sick of it. It's just fucking gorgeous. And like, again, now that I know that it's there, like maybe I can hear a little pitch correcting, but also thank God they did, because it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
And like, what a beautiful song to have written.
They didn't.
They didn't write
this
that
is
one.
one of the covers. I know. Well, and it's actually, I listened
I'm okay
to
with that, but
I listened to the original version of, and it's a lot. You know, they use like almost like a fuzz guitar on it, so it's a very different feeling. It's still, and it's a little bit faster. It's still not like an upbeat song,
right?
But they really took it and they were like, "This is a country ballad," and they did all the things they needed to do to make that just work perfectly. And that's really something that you can say across their discography. When they do a cover, they utterly transform it.
Completely.
You know, you listen to the original, and even if they're covering a country song, you're like, they really did something different with the arrangement here.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I would say, again, with Out of the Woods, similar to Ultra Believer and The Lighthouse's Tale, and the whole first half of this album, I think, but part of what makes it perfect is it is very visual. Like, I listen to Out of the Woods, and it's meditative, and I'm in a cabin in the woods.
Totally.
Like, as soon as I put that song on.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of my favorite discoveries this week, no lie, was actually the closer, Pastures New. It has such a cinematic feel to it.
Yeah.
This, like, oaky feel to it, which is great. It's one of the things where Robin and Marion, for me, is, like, kind of a take it or leave it proposition. I have to be in the mood for it, and sometimes
Robin
I am.
and Marion, I appreciate what they were going for, but to me, it would be better served as, like, music in the background of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really stand alone as a composition to me.
Right. And then there's the hand song. We can't get around it. It's there. It's just staring at us. It hurts us.
I have a very, like, I don't even want to say love-hate. I have a very, like, push-pull relationship with the hand song.
Very fair, yeah.
Sarah sings it beautifully.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think when I first was listening to it, I was still very Catholic, and so, like...
There was
kind of that spiritual grab to it, I don't know. I just think it's a really beautiful song. But then sometimes, it's a little maudlin.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's
a little saccharine. For sure.
It's pronounced mandolin.
There's a lot of mandolin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nothing little about it.
I know.
Even when he's not adding chords, he's just
doing the
strumming
little scratch, the
Yeah.
little palm scratch,
Yeah.
And so I knew this was going to be controversial on this here. And the thing is, again, no other album for me is like, oh, it's a flawless masterpiece here. But just in terms of my enjoyability, some of the highs on the other ones hit a little bit higher for me. So that's why I put it here. But again, this is my nomination. I'm willing to hear it.
What's your...
So my nomination for number 4 would be This Side.
I kind of knew that was coming. I don't know why.
And I love this album.
I
think that This Side, the song, is a great little pop rock number.
Right. Nice little Sean number.
It totally reminds me of a Guster song.
Which is a thing that kind of occurs a little bit through the discography.
Yeah.
They lean a little bit more on the rock side of things.
Multiple times I go, yep, Guster.
Oh yeah, this is why they were my 2 favorite bands at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, because I think also there's something about the vocal textures of when Chris Thiele is wailing up on the tenor part and Sean is underneath. It totally reminds me of Ryan and Adam from Guster.
Yeah.
And also they're playing acoustic guitars, and you take out the bongos and you replace it with him
doing a little
palm
scratch on the
mandolin,
fucking mandolin,
and it's a very similar effect sometimes.
Yeah.
The sirens are coming because this is a hot take right now. The one thing I'll say, though, I just want to put this out before we dive into the discussion of it. The reason why I put Nickel Creek instead of This Side is I will say for This Side, the highs for me are higher, but I also have that flip side, another side of the coin, if you will, of the lows being lower. And that's my issue with This Side. I'm kind of torn between it, you know?
And one of the reasons I might put This Side at 4 instead of Nickel Creek is I actually think it hurts for the lack of instrumentals.
Oh!
Totally.
Because
I didn't even necessarily think about
Smoothie
that.
Song.
It's only Smoothie Song, which is a great instrumental.
It's fantastic.
But 1 or 2 more, just because that's what you kind of come to expect from Nickel Creek. I don't know. I think it kind of hurts it.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that specifically. My issue with this record is that it starts with Smoothie Song, which I feel like it's almost like a triumphant composition. Like, really, really dig what they put together there.
They did a music video for this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of their most popular songs.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of hangs out in this like medium space, like
mid-tempo kind of.
The sad songs aren't that sad, and the angry songs aren't that angry, and the happy songs aren't happy-ish. Are happy-ish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I would agree with
This
you on that.
Side and Green and Gray are probably the most upbeat things on here, but even Green and Gray is like not a particularly happy song.
Right.
And then just
Nor is
you know,
this side.
right? Like, totally,
Yeah.
totally, yeah.
Chris
And,
is going
and
through
even
some feelings.
and the other thing the other song I would describe as upbeat is "Young," which is also like
Love
it's so good, but it's very minor key.
Yeah.
And so like then when you take off the bits of brightness here, you've got "Speak" into "Hanging by a Thread,"
Yes.
into "I Should Have Known Better." That's like sort of a depressing run there.
Starting with "Spin on a Stranger," which is
Yeah.
Right, which again is upbeat recording, sad song.
Yeah. And like as a cover of Pavement, a band that I deeply love, and I know this kind of became a talk point, but also I feel like it was so indicative of where they were heading to, of just kind of this emergence of like, okay, people don't like our pop textures, but we're still going into that indie rock thing. And for me, that's one of the biggest things is like Speak and Young, and even the Spit on a Stranger cover are some of my favorite songs that they've ever done. Like they are, even as much as it is like popper songs, more kind of pop territory, they do it. They absolutely do it. They don't fucking half-step this shit. Like, they fully embrace it, and I appreciate that. So,
also, I will say, I appreciate Beauty and the Mess. It's not, like, my favorite song, but it's the first time I feel like Sarah actually gets to, like, show off vocally. Like, I almost feel like on Self-Titled, she was told to, like, sing more delicate.
Yeah,
Because she's singing full-voiced on Here to There, and then that's not there for an album. And then I feel like because Chris Thiele likes to write these angsty little numbers, she sort of got to do that again. So I like this album. It just... I mean, just like you said, Evan, the lows are lower for me, and so that sort of pulls it down just a little bit. As a through listening experience, it is. I think maudlin was the word that you used, and it is that a little bit.
I actually used maudlin for Nickel Creek when I was describing it, but I always like maudlin is usually like kind of negative. But, right? I don't know.
Mandolin, for the last time, guys. I'm not going to correct you.
Oh my god.
Okay. I should have made the over-under on that joke.
Yeah.
But also,
I'm on this side of the joke.
what a brand new sidewalk. What a fucking weird way to end this album.
Completely.
I definitely think if they were going to include it, which I personally think maybe they should have just cut it.
And for me, also, Sober Girl is just a fucking drag.
Right. And so, like,
Yeah.
this album would be better off not even replacing those, just cutting them.
Yeah, just
and
cut.
ending with Young.
We have a couple edits we'd like to put out there.
Yeah.
So
Ending with Young. Ugh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also think that's where what I was kind of getting at when I was saying I felt like I missed more of the instrumentals on this one.
It should have ended with an instrumental.
It should have ended with an instrumental, or even if it didn't. I mean, I think the instrumentals tend to bring it up. I mean, that's what happens on Nickel Creek, the album.
Right. The
They
instrumentals
might be a little more maudlin with their like lyrics, but the instrumentals kind of bring it up, and so you feel a little bit more like you're on a ride instead of just like maybe a fall.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I don't think I'm going to win this vote here on this end here, but I think we can at the very least put this side at our number 4 slot. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so
I would
that is
agree.
number 6, Little Cowpoke, number 5, Here to There, number 4, this side. So that means that we have 3 other albums, self-titled, Why Should the Fire Die, and A Dotted Line left. Kerida, would you follow me in putting Nickel Creek next, or would you have another nomination?
No, I would put Nickel Creek next.
You would? Okay.
Me too.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It is that back half that kind of drags it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I love it, but
And I think just like, we'll get into this, but it is somewhat a maturity thing. That if you hold that up next to either of the other two, just doesn't quite get there.
right. Their songwriting is not quite at the level
Yeah.
as it would be later in their careers.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, that is... then we just went ahead, we locked it in, self-titled Nickel Creek at number 3, which leaves Why Should the Fire Die and A Dotted Line. And this here is a fascinating little discussion here, because, again, as I noted before, I don't think either album is fully 100%, it's a full-out masterpiece successful. I just happen to enjoy the fuck out of both of these for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Why Should the Fire Die is almost like, it is clearly the sign of like, hey, that whole Christian thing that we were doing a little bit, I don't know.
Well, I definitely
Yeah.
Chris Thiele lost his faith somewhere in there.
Exactly. Well, I mean, a lot of it
He
is
did!
Also, he did, but a lot of it was also tied up into his divorce, too, that he had around
Very
the time, too.
Okay. I mean, he is kind of the king of angst.
Yeah. And writing bitter songs about love lost.
Which is so funny because now...
He's also a total goofball.
Right, I was about to say, it's so funny that he's such the king of angst because... Well, and it's true even in Punch Brothers.
Yeah.
It's not happy.
Yeah.
But then, like, you watch him... I fell deep into a live from here hole on YouTube.
Live
like,
from Hole.
I have watched hours now in the past couple weeks. And he is definitely one of those people who feels music with his entire body and refuses to not express an ounce of it. And so there's so many times where he's just like, when he's really feeling it, he's just like mouth fully open, tongue sticking out a little bit, just like wagging and just like, you know, wailing on his mandolin. And even when he's in the background and other people are playing, he's just like grinning like a moron when they hit that power chord. You know, it's just delightful.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny because he clearly gets so much intense joy out of being a musician and getting to perform on stage that it's amusing a little bit to me that so many of his lyrics and the songs that he writes are dark
and bitter and angsty.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is that, like, we don't even have to talk about a ranking. Let's just talk about the albums in order at this point.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm ready for, because I'm not decided.
Yeah, so first off, Why Should the Fire Die? Now, this is by far their longest album at 14 tracks here, and it takes a lot of detours on there, but it's also, again, as noted, kind of their most rocky album. Like, they just do some flat-out fucking rock songs.
Well, they also switched producers for this album. Alison Krauss was not available, / maybe they wanted a change in direction, but they got, didn't you say it was the guy who produced Good Charlotte?
And Smash Mouth, Eric Valentine.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but the thing is that this is also truly their most produced album. There's the most extra sounds, there's more drumming on it.
There's by far more drumming on this album than anywhere else in their discography, because usually there are no drums at all.
Yeah.
If there's a rhythm section, it's Chris on the mandolin.
Yeah.
And so that's a very interesting change in sound, and this is also where they put like some studio produced backing vocals, just like a big open chord to like increase the impact of a certain section, or like there's electric guitar on this album. And so, it's a very much a different animal than I think anything else in their discography because of that.
Right. Yeah. The textures they achieve are so distinct and so unique, and even on the opener, When in Rome, there's kind of a background, like, kind of muffled kind of voice that they have a little bit at times there. Like, it's clear it's a different beast from the outset, and I appreciate it for that thing. I think, honestly, some of their best songs are on here, flat out.
Absolutely.
Full stop.
I mean, I think When in Rome is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I truly think, because they take every part that, you know, this is a full-on rock song, but they also then take every part of what makes bluegrass so special and they infuse it throughout. And again, that instrumental hook of the dun 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 dun, and then when they'll play it together and then they'll sort of trade off on a section and then seamlessly come back in and play it together again. And just the rise and fall of this song is masterful.
And I will say, Somebody More Like You, in terms of bitter Chris Thile songs, is...
That's a Sean song.
That's a Sean one!
That's a Sean song.
Wow, Sean!
I know.
I'm shocked.
Well, that's, I mean...
It's so classic. I mean, I'm glad, like, I think this album is, like, some of their lyrical high points.
Yes.
Definitely.
And, like, the line in here where, I hope you find someone your height so you can see eye to eye. I fucking love that line.
Yeah.
Every time I'm mad at anyone in my life, I feel like I hear that line.
Yeah. But then, honestly, then you have Doubting Thomas tucked away near the end, which is it's not even doubting your own faith, it's just more like questioning it, of just asking, of all these things that I've done, was it fucking worth it? Did I get anything out of it? Like, it's just striking, like, how powerful that is here. So the thing is that, like, it's just... I feel like it may be a little bit more of an angrier tone to the album altogether, but then you have fucking, Stumptown just kind of tucked in there, just like, by the way, we do bluegrass too, by the way.
We appreciate. So
it is true, though, that it does feel a little bit of like, by the way, we're still a fun bluegrass band.
Hey!
Because so much of this album is that, like, Can't Complain.
Oh my
is,
god.
I
fell in love with that song.
That was
so
a song
hard.
that I did not know super well before this week, and it really surprised me. I think I had heard it before.
Very grown-up song.
That's what I'm saying.
When I was just thinking, I was like, I think this album, when I was listening to it, like,
you were almost too young originally.
I think I was just the right age.
Oh,
I think this song helped me emotionally, like, grow.
sure. Yeah.
This album in many ways, because it is my kind of, I don't want to use the term angst again, but it was my kind of angry,
Yeah.
while still having a softness to it at a lot of times, which I feel like Can't Complain and Doubting Thomas both have that, like, I'm not doing so good, but, like, I'm not gonna smash things about it.
Right. Yeah. Just because I'm not happy doesn't mean I need to scream.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although he does scream a little bit on Can't Complain, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Also, we need to settle a bet. We were trying to determine what Helena sounds more like. If it sounds more like a Guster song or an Arcade Fire song. We were having this debate last night.
well,
Arcade Fire, I think.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, I said Guster just because I feel like I hear Guster a lot in this side of them. But as soon as you said Arcade Fire, and then I immediately put it on again, I agreed with you. The build that they do on this song, and then it ends as this huge explosion, which is very Arcade Fire. You know,
Yeah.
the da-da-da-da-da. Like,
This is another one where there's a line in it that I have just pulled out when he sings, "Guys like me never sleep alone at night." I'm just like, I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
And
I feel that feeling.
right. Well, and I loved how unfiltered that song is.
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
exactly.
he's like, yeah, I did a shitty thing.
And the thing is that
here's the story.
Even
you
then,
know?
but that's the thing about this album. The thing I like about it most is that its tone is so specific. Because I feel like even this side, they're trying to do a lot of different things.
Mhm.
And even then, I feel like even on Nickel Creek, while they're having fun, they're still being a bluegrass band with those
Right.
pop overtones. And I feel like Why Should the Fire Die is like, we're saying something. We're a statement. And that's part of the reason why Stumptown kind of stands out a little bit like it does, because the rest of the album is just very dramatic. And to have this Philly a little fun number, it's a nice break in pace, certainly.
It's a breath.
But it's also like, it doesn't feel the same way. And that's the thing where, like, the only thing I don't love about this album is that at 14 songs it is a little bit overlong, and by the time you get to something airy like First and Last Waltz, like, okay, I see why you're here, but it's more of a transitional piece for me than it is like a full-on song.
Well, so I think they would even agree with you. I read that live they would typically play it as an intro to Helena. Like, those two songs are
kind of fused together.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that said, after this album came out, they decided to take a break. They didn't want to pursue other solo projects, and they took a long break. They had the Farewell for Now tour that went all the way into 2007, and then finally they came back in 2014, did a Dotted Line. And the thing is, the Dotted Line was initially just like, okay, let's just do a couple songs. Let's maybe do an EP, you know?
Right. They were, because it was I think the 25th year of them as a band.
Yeah.
So they were like,
started in 1989.
let's get a tour, let's do a tour again, and we can record an EP. And then they talked about how getting together to write again, it just was like so natural.
They just clicked right into place.
They ended up writing way more songs than they initially expected together.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's striking is that they also secured the services of Eric Valentine again as producer. But the sound of this album is completely different from Why Should the Fire Die. It's almost like they're most raw to a degree, too.
Completely. Well, and I think part of the reason for that is that, I mean, this is now 2014. So they have, I mean, it's literally their 25th anniversary. They have been doing this for 25 years at this point. And so you don't need a ton of production tricks for them, because their vocals are airtight. They are incredible technical musicians. They are, all three of them are very fucking good at what they do with their string instruments.
Yes.
They, like, there's a couple, I mean, and I watched some live performances, and just the nimble fingers is all I have to say. Like, and it's just across this album start to finish. And so they didn't have to, put a bunch of extra drums in or a bunch of effects or they probably didn't even really use pitch correction.
Yeah.
Because these are people who've been singing together for their whole lives.
More mature singers.
And more mature singers, and they've also now for the past couple of years been harmonizing with other people a lot more, so that's expanded their skill set.
So for me, the one thing is that I described Here to There as kind of the album when I really first clicked into like Sean as a guitarist. So like, oh, you're fucking amazing. And I don't know which album it is for Chris, but Chris is, admittedly kind of the frontman for the band. So he's, kind of all over the place. But what Sarah does vocally on this album, she's always been a good vocalist. But even when you hear Destination, when you hear her coming in, like the way that she is able to modulate her voice, like up and it is beautiful.
I definitely think that spending time away from the band and being a solo artist was really good for Sarah Watkins even more than the other two.
I would
agree.
I really think that it helped her find her confidence as an individual. She was always, there are whole songs on earlier albums where I'm listening to it and I'm like, I don't think Sarah did anything here. There's no violin. She's not on harmony vocals.
Yeah.
And they can't afford to leave her out at this point because she's such a presence. And she growls on her vocal takes in a way that she almost has like a soulful nature to her voice, but also because her voice has a lot of texture to it. Like it's reedy is not the right word, but it reminds me of Dolly Parton almost in a little way, where there's, she is still can belt, but when she belts, there's like this sort of breathy nature to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's so compelling to listen to.
It is. It's gorgeous to listen to. And also like you said, she more so than the other two even just totally has blossomed. Because also going back and forth from vocals to violin is not the same, I don't care what you say, as going back and forth from vocals to mandolin or guitar.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like violin is not...
It's a
your
lot
chin
harder.
is locked into a place.
Right, violin is not, it's not a natural position for your body to be in. It's not like violinists are...
Oh, well, even Taran was noticing,
So that is a very fascinating thing that I noticed. Is because I watched a lot of live performances the last couple weeks, is that in modern day Sarah Watkins, she does a lot more just singing without an instrument in her hand sometimes. And when she doesn't have something in her hand, her violin arm is still out.
Yes!
It's still out in the position, and she'll wave it around and gesture with it.
Right.
But the arm that it has been holding, because again, she's been doing this for decades upon decades, literally her whole life. So the muscle memory is while she's singing, while she's performing, her arm that would be holding the violin is out and ready and gesturing. And obviously sometimes she's playing guitar or ukulele, and so then her hands are busy. But it was just, there were a couple different performances where I noticed it, and I was like, it's almost it's cute and endearing.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't ever change it, because it's just I love that.
Right.
It's such a core part of you.
Yeah. I just want to tell a funny, cute story from when they did their tour with this album.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically Chris Thile, before they played Elephant in the Corn live, basically said the thing that slows us down the most is we have to come up with the perfect titles for our instrumental songs. And so here it is, 9 years in the making, Elephant in the Corn.
I love that.
And so I always think about that. And then, again, very visual. I think they even played that up. They were like, when that happens, that's the elephant. It was totally
when they do
making
that time shift,
Yeah. But it was just really funny.
Yeah.
And I just always think of that.
And even for Sean, Mr. down with JC kind of boy, 21st of May, which Taran successfully deduced was about...
I was because I was listening to the lyrics when I was a little bit, I was like, 21st of May, that means something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, that was the original Rapture prediction.
By Howard Camping
Howard
and Family
Camping
Radio.
And Sean told
Add
that
the
story
fish number.
Oh,
live.
yeah.
He did
Okay.
introduce the song that way, hey, so... this thing happened. I don't know if you know about it.
Remember when the Rapture almost happened?
So
And then it
I
didn't.
wrote the song about it. That's basically what it was.
Which is really cool. And the thing is that, the thing I love about A Dotted Line is that it's so, Why Should the Fire Die was this is an artistic statement, this is a point.
Mm-hmm.
A Dotted Line, it just feels so casual, in a way.
It feels like three really talented musicians just, having fun together.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like it so much, is because it truly, and especially hearing them talk about the writing and recording process, was that it was just like, oh, great. We're just getting back together. And I also love that it is the most collaborative of their albums writing-wise, in that on previous albums, it was either a Sean song or a Chris song.
Or a cover.
Or a cover.
Or traditional.
Whereas here, 6 out of the 10 songs are credited to all 3 of them.
Yes.
And they really, figured out the pieces and the arrangement together as a group. And I think that shines through in that, it isn't just, you don't hear it and go, oh, well, this is a Chris song. Except for you don't know what's going on. That's a Chris song. Very obvious.
What, the Bitter Rock song is a Chris song? Well, tell me more.
And I really like that song.
Yeah.
But
Honestly,
it's very clear that it isn't one of the ones that was co-written by all 3 of them.
Right.
And then his cover of the band Mother, which is a thing, the cover of the song Hayloft, so fun.
It's so
this
fucking
clanging,
good.
out of nowhere percussion. Yeah.
Was jaw-dropping live.
I'm
I
sure.
can imagine.
I think that I probably make this up. There was silence after. I mean, and I remember when I listened to the album, that was the one I just had on repeat. I mean, I love the whole album, but it's that ingenuity that that they have on Why Should the Fire Die, and even to some ways on this side where they're yes, we do bluegrass, but we also do other things,
right?
Yeah.
And we can do everything with just the 3 of us. Thank you very much.
Well, and that's I mean, this is another one where I listened to the original, and it sounds like a Jack White side project. It is a very, very much. I mean, Jack White also obviously has big roots in Americana,
yes.
but he approaches it from a completely different place.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to hear them take this song and just utterly transform it in a different style, but it still was just as aggressive and dangerous. And I agree. I have played this song on repeat. I fucking love it.
And it's a song about teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of little nod to their roots.
Oh, I didn't even think of that aspect. Yeah.
I just thought of it now, but I was there's so much about that song that just feels.
Also, I love Where Is Love Now. It's so gorgeous. And that's, I think, again, when you talk about them not needing a whole lot extra, you really, it's good that there's nothing extra on that song, because just the 3 of them and their acoustic instruments is
more
perfect.
than enough. Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's the thing where after all this discussion, though, I think I may have settled on something which I didn't initially think of before. I think for me personally, I would put Why Should the Fire Die at number 2 at this point. After all the discussion. I don't know where y'all stand, but that's just kind of where I'm thinking here.
That's not what I thought. That's not what I expected. What are you thinking, Taran?
That's kind of where I'm leaning to.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. It's hard for me to find a fault in a dotted line.
Yeah.
Whereas, I can. There are songs where I'm this isn't my favorite on pretty much every other record they did.
Yeah.
On a dotted line, I don't know that there's anything I would ever skip.
Yeah.
I really, truly
Christmas
love
Eve,
it.
lovely, just
again,
simple, effective,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, all of their harmonies are beautiful, but the arrangement that they put together and the way that song swells and builds, and then they go, and then it falls out again, and then it breaks back into the chorus. It just, I just love every. There's not a note out of place on this record.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we gotta go with
We
that.
got it. All right, cool. In that case, guys, you
We
heard it
simply
here.
have to. We owe it to the people.
It's time to lock it in our locked-in segment brought to you by Tide Pods. That's right, guys. Number 6 is Little Cowpoke. Number 5 is Here to There. Number 4, this side. Number 3, Nickel Creek. Number 2, Why Should the Fire Die? And you know what's coming. Number 1, Rounding Second by Chris Thiele, his sophomore album from 1990, whatever. No, I'm kidding. It's a Dotted Line from 2014. And guys, listen, we have so much more to talk about. That is what a Happy Hour mini-sode is for. We're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about their various live performances. There's so many different iterations of what they do. In fact, you know how it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's the MCU? It's the NCU, the Nickel Creek Universe. There's so many tangential bands and related things that we're going to talk about a bit. In the meantime, Kerida, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure to be here. I'm so happy I got to take some time away from the world.
Yeah, be here in studio. We're so happy to
Wonderful.
have you. And anyway, we're happy that you're going to be here all the way until next week when we record our Happy Hour mini-sode. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. The whole week is between
Yeah, we
these
take
things.
a week between to, like, you know,
Just decompress.
decompress because
And get a little bit more drunk. Exactly. So, yeah. Anyways, Taran, as always, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so glad that we did this. This is one of my favorite artists ever.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as much as we picked y'all apart, I do love Nickel Creek so very much. They're very unique and special.
I hope they come back. I hope there's a Nickelback kind of situation that goes on.
I was really surprised there hadn't been a joke yet.
I was
You
really
had
happy.
to sneak it in.
I was happy with my fucking the Expanse joke at the start.
I was not. That was a reach.
Yeah. Speaking of reaches, if you like this podcast, make sure you leave us a review. Find us on iTunes. We're on the SoundCloud. We're on the Amazon. We're on the wherever you find podcast. Leave a review. Anytime you leave a review, it helps visibility. If you want to just talk about how stupid I sound, send an email to the chartographers@gmail.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. But most importantly, keep on listening because you know that we'll be. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.
Hello, this is David from the New Movies podcast, Catching Up David. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about one of the movies we watched recently that I liked the most, and that was Lilo and Stitch. I especially liked the aliens in Lilo and Stitch, which I didn't realize was a thing.
He didn't realize that was a thing because David doesn't know anything about modern pop culture. He somehow missed all of the 2000s. So Kristen and I, we made a list of the pop culture canon, movies that we feel were influential,
and have really solidified their place in today's pop culture.
and we make David watch them. So if you want to experience someone experiencing pop culture for the first time, having lived in a bubble, we can be found at Catching Up David on Twitter.
Or you can find us any place you listen to podcasts.
Or at catchingupdavid.podbean.com.